For the headlines,
Iglesia ni Cristo sets new Guinness World Record for the most people baptized for the grand baptism at the Ciudad de Victoria in Bocaue, Bulacan.
the INC's grand baptism today also coincides with the 10th year of Brother Eduardo V. Manalo as Executive Minister of the Iglesia ni Cristo. The Church has now reached 152 countries and territories with its members belonging to 147 nationalities, races, and ethnicities.
And as the UN and other partners respond to huge humanitarian needs in the hurricane-struck Bahamas, latest reports indicate that the death toll is likely to rise considerably. I'm Alma Angeles, wherever you're watching from around the world. Thank you very much for joining us.
We welcome our viewers here in the Philippines and around the world. Good evening, everyone. I'm Don Orozco.
And now to the news. The Iglesia ni Cristo has just set a new Guinness World Record for the most people baptized today at the Grand Baptism at the Ciudad de Victoria in Bocaue, Bulacan, with a number of 18,272. Let's listen in.
I can now confirm for the most people baptized, you have set a new Guinness World Records total with 18,272. Congratulations, you are officially amazing.
Iglesia ni Cristo spokesperson and minister, Brother Edwin Sabala, earlier said that the baptism in the Church of Christ is a solemn occasion where a candidate for baptism who has undergone Bible studies and doctrinal lessons have completed the requirements for entering the church. It's a rigorous procedure which also includes regularly attending worship services to God.
Ang Iglesia ni Cristo sa kasalukuyan ay nasa 152 bansa at teritoryo na sa buong mundo. Kaya patuloy na nagiging matagumpay ang pagtawag ng mga tao na magbabalik loob sa Diyos, tumatanggap ng bautismo, umaanib sa Iglesia ni Cristo, ay sapagkat sa pangunguna ng namamahala sa Iglesia ni Cristo, buong kasiglahan na nakikipagkaisa ang mga kaanib ng Iglesia ni Cristo sa kilusan o sa gawaing ipamahagi ang pananampalataya sa mga taong hindi pa kapananampalataya.
Baptisms were also held in different countries across different time zones. There were more than 100 sites around the world for this baptism. INC Minister Sir G. Santos of the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation said that just like what happened with the Worldwide Walk in 2014 and 2018, there were also simultaneous events for baptism worldwide.
Iwangis mo lang sa Worldwide Walk kung paano naglakad tayo sa Ross Boulevard. O ganon din sa 387 sites sa mundo nang sabay-sabay yung unang hakbang. Ganon ang Iglesia ni Cristo.
Meanwhile, INC General Auditor Minister Glicerio B. Santos Jr. said that with this occasion, the church gives back all glory to God.
I'm feeling very much okay. I'm feeling very much happy to be baptized in the church. That's something I was willing for a long time. So today is the best day for me. It's a special day for me, yes, I can say.
Something's changed. It's the only way I can describe it. Something has changed. I had no idea I needed this as badly as I now know I do. I'm really, not get me wrong, I really enjoy the fact that I'm being able to be a part of such a big undertaking. But the important thing is what just happened in the pool. Everything else is kind of added information. Yeah.
We were placed in the middle, of the both of them, and actually the one that embarrassed was the Ed and the Ignatius. And we came across to meet a lot of the brothers of the church, including Brother Eduardo Manalon. My wife, she got a job. And she quit to come here. But at the same time, God gave her the opportunity when she goes back home to get a job, a better job, and she's going to pursue that deed and also with the blessing of the Lord.
I had a brother who came here the other time. Then he was a friend of mine, fellow colleague, bishop. Then he came and told me, brother, there's a church. Come and listen to the teachings. And then he invited me, I came, we got the teachings. The first day I heard the preacher, it was Brother Neil, he's now in Rwanda. When he taught me, I said, where am I? I should be in a wrong place. Then I began slowly to go through the teachings day and night, until we completed the 28 lessons. But of most, what made me to leave I was a bishop in my church, I was serving for Mombasa province. I realized in the book of Acts of the Apostles, chapter number 20, verses 28, the Bible says that the church that Jesus purchased with his own blood. You see? And in Romans 16:16, that church is the church of Christ. So I said, I'm in a wrong place. If I'm not in the church that Jesus purchased by his own blood, then I'm in a wrong place. So continually I had the teachings and I was fully convinced. And I joined the Ignition Christian.
And then from there, I started to attend the Bible study. In fact, we had Brother Mark who used to come to my house. I invited the neighbors, they come to listen to the word. Then I continued to attend the Bible study, then go to the worship services. That's how I came to know this church. I think this is a good church because it takes out the person in wholesome. And then the church where lays the foundation of Christ, where the true salvation is found.
Teaching the teachings of this Church of Christ, I inspired by one word. The church must be builded by apostles. And Felix V. Menol is a lost messenger of messenger of the Church of Christ. So he is the one builded by according to the scriptures. So I understood this is the truth. The church must be established by apostles. So he is the messenger of God, last messenger of God. So I should be in this Church of Christ.
I like that true doctrine. Yeah, in world there is a lot of doctrines. Yeah, That's not in true word of God. Different their own ideas and their own like that. But this INC, Ecclesia Church of Christ, is to follow the Bible as teachers, Bible teachers is follow. So I like that. Yes, there is different. So we'll say in previous Jesus Christ God, and this Church of Christ is the man. Father is God. Yes, that is the different, great different. Before we don't know that the truth. After we.
All right, so I have with me Mr. Don Orozco, our EBC correspondent in Silicon Valley. Don, welcome again.
Yes.
You were at the Philippine Arena today to witness
I was actually at the Philippine Arena, and I actually arrived there very early in the morning just to make sure that I be able to observe what will actually transpire for the rest of the day.
So tell us what was your experience there? How was it?
Well,
What did you see?
of course, just looking at the surroundings, you know, it's the arena has always been well lighted, and I was surprised because everything was in order, you know. From the beginning, of course, the traffic was actually overwhelming, but then it's the Philippines. Traffic is something
It's
that
everywhere.
it's something that's upon us. Anyway,
But at the Philippine Arena.
anyway,
Yeah.
so when I came in, you know, there was formation of those to be baptized, and I was so surprised because the number is not really the reason why the number is something that is lower than expected, because apparently during the day, you know, as soon as you were baptized, you have to cut your the wristband.
Okay.
And then you have to drop it off.
All right.
Unfortunately, a lot. To be honest with you, I think there's about 10,000.
Less than the 18,000 that was...
No, I think there's at least another 10,000 who wasn't able to do that. Plus, other than not cutting the wristband, there are those who went inside. They went out to eat.
Okay, so they forgot
that will disqualify them already. Diba?
Okay.
But I was actually there from the beginning till the end, and I can see
everything.
It's really filled to the capacity. Remember, it is a 55,000 seater. The upper level is the only one where not to be baptized INC members were there. So I was asking Attorney Bong Chodoro, the general manager of the Philippine Arena, and I told him, what will comprise that space? Oh, it's about 15,000.
Okay.
So, and then so the rest is 40. I was figuring it's for 40, and they were even seated on the aisle. That's why I was saying, oh, it's about 40 then. So that's it. But what's surprising and what impressed me more, and actually blew me away, is the orderliness. And then the two big screens that is inside the arena. Every time they show, you know, the non-Filipinos, and there's a lot.
The foreigners, yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. And then the crowd inside the arena are clapping.
Oh, okay.
So those are the things, and really it is something that I feel it is really historic.
Yes.
In celebration of Brother Eduardo's 10th year anniversary.
Okay. So speaking about Brother Eduardo's 10th anniversary.
Well, the INC's grand baptism today also coincides with the 10th year of Brother Eduardo V. Manalo as Executive Minister of the Church. The Church has now reached 152 countries and territories, with its members belonging to 147 nationalities, races, and ethnicities. the entire Church of Christ commemorates this milestone. In relation to this, please watch this.
Bandang Amerika sa Lambot, kung saan ay yung tinatawag na blizzard, wala talagang sasakyang nangangaas na maglakbay. Sobrang lamig at ang daming yelo. Tuloy pa rin ang Ka Eduardo. Talagang pagkapagsamba, higit kanino man ang Ka Eduardo makikita natin na nagpapahalaga. Ano man ang panganib, gaano mang mangyari, ay inuuna niya ang pagsamba. At marami pa na karanasan kami na naranasan sa paglalakbay. Kalahin mo, 10 taon na ngayon ang nakakaraan. Wala ni isang anumang panganib na nakahadlang kay Ka Eduardo. Akalain mo, ngayon naman nangyari na milyon-milyon ang dinudoktrinahan. Akalain mo, yun lamang pangyayari na 1,662 iba't ibang pastor ng iba't ibang reliyon. Sa panahon lang ni Ka Eduardo nangyari yan. Pagkatapos, yung sinasabi natin, mga kahanga-hanga na nagawa, na kinilala ng Guinness World Record na 24 na iba't ibang nagawa na iglesia, partikular lalo na yung lingap sa mamamayan sa buong mundo, sa panahon ito ni Ka Eduardo nangyari. Iyan ang ibinunga ng 10 taong matiyagang pagdalaw ni Kapatid Eduardo Manalo sa iba't ibang dako ng daigdig. Sa akin, kung hindi ginawa ni Ka Eduardo yun, hindi ganito kasigla ang makikita natin. Kaya ganito kasigla at katagumpay iglesia, una, sapagkat yun ang gusto ng Diyos, kalooban ng Diyos. Ikalawa ay dahil sa sipag at maging kagitingan ng Kapatid Eduardo Manalo na kaya nangyari ang lahat ng tagumpay na ito. Noong kami magpunta ng Ka Eduardo sa museum, yung ating bagong museum, merong isang segment doon na ipinakikita doon ang lahat ng pastoral visit na ginawa ni Ka Eduardo. Nung makita ko, ako'y namangha at ipinakita ko kay Eduardo. Sabi Ka Eduardo, 10 taon lang, 554 mahigit ang napuntahan niyo sa abroad. Sabi nga, oh, grabe yan. Tino, yun lang makikita. Paano nagawa yun? Yun awa at tulong ng Diyos.
Ako, out of curiosity, nagtanong sa kanya ukol sa kanyang ginagawang mga paglalakbay. Kung hindi ba siya napapagod. Ang sabi nila ng buong kataintiman, napapagod din. Pero ang sabi nga niya, ang bilin sa kanya ng kapatid na Eranio Manalo, nung nabubuhay pa, kapag ka ikaw na ang namamahala sa iglesia, sikapin mong madalaw ang bawat lokal ng iglesia, saan man panig ng mundo. Mapuntahan ng mga kapatid, makita kanilang kalagayan.
Kaya kami, kahit saan makarating ang mga kapatid, kahit mahirap puntahan ang kanilang lugar, sinisikap naming mapuntahan. Sapagkat ang gusto namin, itong mga katotohanan ito ng Panginoong Diyos, laging maging sariwa sa kanila. Ang kinakailangan ngayon sa bawat isa sa atin, pagka malapit na ang ikalawang pagparito ng ating Panginoong Kristo, aktibo tayo sa ating pagkaiglesia ni Kristo. Kaya mga kapatid, magtiyaga pa tayo, magtiis pa tayo, huwag tayong bibitaw sa ating kahalalan, huwag tayong papayag na mayroong makasira sa ating kahalalan. Pero kung kayo nagtiis, kung kayo nagtiyaga, kung kayo ay nanghawak sa inyong pagkaiglesia ni Kristo, anuman ang inyong nasagupa, nakatitiya kayo, makararating kayo doon sa hangganan.
Meanwhile, as we earlier said, the Grand Baptism was held worldwide. Here are some reactions from Macau, China.
I am Sister Kaiseth Mercado from Local of Macau District of Macau. I'm one of the newly baptized members of the Church of Christ, and I'm delighted to be a part of this historical mass baptism led by our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. And I would like to greet him happy 10th anniversary on his dynamic and triumphant leadership in the Church of Christ.
Alyarinyola, mula sa distrito ng lokal na Macau. Kakatapos lang po ng isinagawa namin bautismo. Isa po ako sa nabautismuhan dito sa tinatawag na historical na malakihang bautismo. Na pinangungunahan ni kapatid na Eduardo Manalo. Nagpapasalamat po ako kasi isa po ako sa nabiyayaan na makasama sa isang historical na pangmaramihang pambautismo. Hindi ko alam kung anong nararamdaman ko, tuwa, kasi matagal ko pong inantay itong pagkakataon na ito na maging isang kaanib ng Iglesia ni Cristo. Dati po kasi isa po akong purong Katoliko, pero simula po nung napasok po ako sa Iglesia ni Cristo, naintindihan ko po lahat kung ano ang totoong Panginoon at totoong ano. Kaya napakalaking pasasalamat po kay kapatid na kay Eduardo Manalo. Mahal na mahal po namin po.
The Church of Christ continues to help people around the world through its Aid to Humanity project. Here's Juliana Ala.
Mission Evangelica y Ayuda Humanitaria was held in Madrid, Spain as part of the worldwide Aid to Humanity of the Iglesia ni Cristo or the Church of Christ. The members of the Church of Christ from Madrid, Spain were gathered together with their guests to attend the evangelical mission. After the guests listened attentively to the words of God, the Aid to Humanity was held by the brethren, sharing some relief goods to the guests.
Ang layunin po ng Iglesia, kaya isinasagawa ang ganitong mga aktibidad. Totoo, hindi lang dito sa Espanya, kundi sa iba't ibang panig ng daigdig ginagawa ito ng Iglesia. Una, para makatulong sa ating kapwa, matulungan sila ng mga pangunahing kailangan nila, at higit sa lahat ay maibahagi sa kanila yung mga tunay na aral ng ating Panginoong Diyos. Kasi kung kailangan natin ng mga pangangailangan sa buhay na ito, lalong kailangan nating malaman yung katotohanan na maghahatid sa atin doon sa tunay na buhay o sa kaligtasan.
¿Es la primera vez que asistís a un evento como este?
No, hemos venido varias veces.
¿Y qué os ha parecido el evento de hoy?
Ha sido es muy interesante y gracias a nuestros primos por invitarnos.
Nagpapasalamat po kami dito sa lokal ng Madrid sa ating pinakamamahal na tagapamahalang pangkalahatan, ang kapatid na Eduardo Manalo, sapagkat pinahintulutan nila yung mga ganitong aktibidad. Nakatulong tayo sa ating kapwa, nasunod natin ang utos ng Diyos. At higit sa lahat ay lalong nakita yung pagkakaisa ng Iglesia ni Cristo sa iba't ibang panig po ng mundo.
The Evangelical Mission and the Aid to Humanity is a project inside the Church of Christ to help people all over the world and to propagate the doctrines inside the church. Reporting from Madrid, Spain, I am Juliana Ala and I am 125.
Meanwhile, workers and friends were invited by church members of the INC to an event sponsored by their choir members. To tell us more, here are their reactions. Here's Janine Pegalio.
INC members from Battersea United Kingdom invited work colleagues, school friends and family members to an event sponsored by INC choir members. Over 150 guests of all age attended and were moved by their INC experience.
Today we have an EVM where we invited guests from like schools and like workplaces who wanted to learn more about the church.
I was invited by a friend. She insisted I turn up, and I did.
Oh, my aunt invited me to an event here, and it was absolutely lovely. I enjoyed the service. The service was just wonderful, and it was amazing simply because everyone was just so kind. Everyone was just so courteous. It was warm. The word was very strong, you know, and it was really a biblically sound day for me. It was really good.
He's trying to explain to you in detail, which I found very interesting. I found it is interesting. I enjoyed it.
I thought it was great. I had an amazing time. I was really looking forward to it, and I had a great time.
Just, you know, encouraging people to understand the truth of the Bible. I think that's really important.
It was very interesting and very mind-opening, shall I say.
I really liked it. I liked how they went through different Bible verses and found answers and questions, and yeah, it was really interactive.
Oh my God, I was blown away. I said to my friend, because my friend came along with me, and I was absolutely blown away because I heard of this church when I was invited by Anne. But when I came and I saw exactly what's being done in South Africa, and the provisions and the joy for the people, the work opportunities, places that they've provided for the ministers, teachings, and the people just came as one, and the joy on the people's face. Now this is talking about one God and showing love to people. That was absolutely brilliant for me.
I'm looking into Bible studies again, so we'll see. I might join.
I hope to learn more about God, and also to learn more about God so that I can spread His word.
I think I'll continue to come into events like these and seeing different perspectives, and also asking questions to myself and seeing if I can find different answers.
Yes, it was very nice, very, very moving, and definitely I will come again.
INC members were able to share their faith, and their guests were treated to an international food fair voluntarily prepared by the INC members from Battersea, United Kingdom. Reporting from Battersea, I'm Janine Pigolo from EBC, United Kingdom, and I'm 1 with 25.
Meanwhile, as the UN and other aid partners respond to huge humanitarian needs in the hurricane-struck Bahamas, latest reports indicate that the death toll is likely to rise considerably. To date, more than 40 people are confirmed to have died after Hurricane Durian hit the islands of Ibaka and Grand Bahama last weekend with maximum wind speeds of 297 kilometers per hour. That's 185 miles per hour. But the government says that thousands are still missing after the Category 5 storm brought with it a storm surge of 18 to 23 feet high, or around 5.5 to 7 meters. Here's Dr. Ian Morton, who heads the World Health Emergency Medical Teams, speaking in Geneva.
I can't tell you whether I've got to every single atoll and sand cay, but certainly the major sections of each island have been reached. We're certainly seeing reports more and more on the health side coming in, but they're looking at shelter, food, access, and trying to assess what populations are left where. We now know that the hospital in Freeport, which is on Grand Bahama, has been severely flooded with sewage-contaminated water, and so therefore needs to be temporarily replaced with we certainly expect the death toll to rise. I can't tell you what that will be, but we're really worried about it. What we see and what we've seen, unfortunately, this devastating storm surge, especially with a stationary storm, produces what you could see maybe after a tsunami. And what we don't see in those cases is injuries as such. We see, unfortunately, a lot of people drowned or and losing their lives or surviving.
The extreme level of destruction has been attributed by UN weather experts, the World Meteorological Organization, VMO, to the fact that Durian remained stationary, thus exacerbating the impacts of the hazards. Wind, rain, waves, and storm surge. In a statement issued today, UN Migration Agency IOM said that only minimal information was available from the affected islands and that more detailed assessments of people's requirements are needed. Among its priorities, the agency is providing 1,000 tarpaulins to replace roofs stripped from homes by the hurricane. Latest information suggests that some 76,000 people are homeless on the worst hit islands.
I honestly believe Ibaka is finished. I think Ibaka will not recover until the next 10 years. Like fully recover, because everything is gone. Absolutely everything is gone. So in order to have money, you need people to invest. I don't think people are going to invest anymore because of the devastation. So it's a chance that I don't think people are willing to take, and right now Ibaka need external investors.
Oh, it can take a long time. Nothing is impossible, but it can take a lot to recover, because we lost, you see? So, but 100% devastating all over. I lost my home, my apartments, and I'm inland, so imagine these people on, you know.
Me, I supposed to live, but I can't. But no water, no food. You and me, nobody can stay there, because if you stay there, but couple days pass, but you very feel sick. You and me, but my plan that's to live, find some places to live.
If they want to rebuild, we'll come back. But if they, I ain't where to start. All lamp, no electricity, no water, no nothing. It doesn't make sense. All them house break. Ibaka is like a ghost town.
Now, Durian made landfall in the United States as a Category 1 hurricane, packing winds of nearly 90 miles per hour or 150 kilometers per hour. The Miami-based National Hurricane Center said the storm made landfall at Cape Hatteras on North Carolina's Outer Banks, the finger-like barrier islands off the coast. Flooding was reported in the town of Ocracoke to the southwest of Cape Hatteras, or Hatteras. The state governor has warned that hundreds of people may be trapped on a North Carolina island amid rising floodwater after Hurricane Durian made landfall.
We got a tornado alert on the phones. About 3 minutes later, you started hearing the wind turn and the house starts shaking. And just grabbed all the kids and went downstairs. Wow. So that was probably the scariest part of the whole entire storm.
The Category 1 storm knocked out power in 215,000 homes and businesses and drove a 7-foot surge into the Outer Banks. State officials said at a press conference that there could still be hundreds of people trapped facing dangerous flooding on the islands. Because of the location of the Outer Banks, those who had not evacuated were unable to escape once the storm began. Many residents on low-lying Ocracoke Island fled to their attics to wait out the storm, where flooding is at history levels, the Dare County Emergency Management Office said. No injuries or deaths were immediately reported. At 2 a.m. local time Saturday, the NHC said Durian was about 170 miles south-southeast of Nantucket Island and was producing tropical storm force winds in southeast Massachusetts as it heads towards Canada. The storm was moving in a northeast direction up the Atlantic coast at 25 miles per hour with hurricane force winds expected in parts of the Canadian province of Nova Scotia later Saturday after Durian Center passes to the southeast of New England. The Canadian Hurricane Center issued a hurricane warning for central and eastern Nova Scotia.
The death toll from Hurricane Durian's devastating rampage across the Bahamas rose to 43 Friday, a number authorities said is likely to climb significantly, even as rescuers pluck despite survivors from the debris.
Well, me and my family, my mom and my dad and my sisters and their kids, we all came together. We were 16 of us sleeping in a 2-bedroom apartment and just trying to get by the best way we could.
Yeah, we're going to spend the night at someone's house for the night. We don't know how long we'll be able to stay there, but we're going to spend the night there.
I thank God I'm still alive because, like I said, no one thought they were going to make it on this one. But to be honest, I'm thankful for life. I lost everything, my car, house, clothes, all of that is gone, but I got life, so I'm thankful. But Ibaka, there's plenty people dead, plenty people are not found.
More than 260 residents of brutally damaged Ibaka Island arrived in the capital city of Nassau after spending more than 7 hours on a government-chartered ferry, a second of which was expected to arrive overnight. Those who made it to safety awaited news of loved ones such as Diane Forbes, who had not heard from her 2 sons since Tuesday and was searching for them among some 200 evacuees sheltering at the gymnasium Friday night in Nassau, which was spared the wrath of the hurricane.
I have not heard from him. I don't know if he's okay. My eldest son, I haven't heard from him before the storm. I have reached out to the media by posting his picture, everything, and there's no listing of names or of persons who are here. So even if he is here, I wouldn't know because you can't go to the window or anything and look at the names. There's nothing. So I have to wait until they tell me whether he's here or not.
According to UN relief officials, more than 70,000 people, virtually the entire population of Grand Bahama and Ibaka, are in need of assistance after the storm reduced homes to matchsticks and destroyed people's livelihoods. The U.S. Coast Guard and private organizations have been evacuating residents of Ibaka and other islands to Nassau. The multinational relief effort, which also includes Britain's Royal Navy and several non-governmental organizations, has been hampered by flood damage to airport runways, destroyed piers and docks, and downed communications. Durian hit the northern Bahamas from Sunday to Tuesday, leaving at least 43 people dead and thousands missing. The hurricane, which was downgraded to Category 1 storm, made landfall in the Carolinas, flooding coastal towns and cutting off electricity.
All right, more typhoons after battering Japan's Ryukyu Islands. Typhoon Lingling has now set its sights on the Korean Peninsula. The typhoon has winds equivalent to a Category 3 major hurricane in the Atlantic or Eastern Pacific basins as it moves into the Yellow Sea. Our EBC correspondent from South Korea, Kristen Jewel Uy, reports.
A strong typhoon named Lingling entered South Korea on Saturday, causing strong winds and rains in the country. The typhoon caused 1 death and many injuries as of today. A woman of her 70s was knocked by a strong wind in Buryong, southwest of Seoul. The typhoon Lingling also caused many damages such as uprooted trees, broken signages, and overturned small vehicles. Many international flights and flights to and from Jeju have been cancelled and many sections of roads were blocked, such as bridges going to Incheon Airport due to strong wind. According to the Meteorological Association, the typhoon is expected to continue moving north to reach North Korea later today. This is Kristen Jewel Uy, your EBC correspondent from South Korea, and I am 1 with 25.
In another news, an American Airlines mechanic on Friday was due to appear in court on charges he tampered with an aircraft over stalled union negotiations that he said harmed him financially. U.S. prosecutors have charged Abdul Majid Maroof Ahmed Alani with interfering with part of an aircraft flight data system, causing the grounding of a July flight from Miami to the Bahamas, according to a criminal complaint filed Thursday in Miami. Alani is due to appear before a judge later Friday. The maximum possible penalty for the violation is 20 years in jail, said the spokeswoman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Miami. The plane carrying 150 passengers and crew was taken out of service before takeoff due to an error in the air data module system. Alani was identified in surveillance footage as having entered the aircraft earlier in the morning. Alani allegedly admitted to the FBI that he had inserted a piece of foam into the Adam inlet and applied super glue to prevent the foam from coming off, according to an FBI affidavit. In his affidavit, Alani explained to law enforcement that he was upset at the stalled contract dispute between the union workers and American Airlines and that this dispute had affected him financially. Alani said he tampered with the plane to cause a delay or have the flight canceled in anticipation of obtaining overtime work. American has been embroiled in contentious labor negotiations and litigation with its mechanic union that led to flight cancellations and delays in the second quarter.
In other news, Iran seized a boat and arrested 12 Filipinos as it busted a fuel smuggling ring in the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday, and that is according to the semi-official news agency ISNA. A foreign tugboat was confiscated as well as 283,900 liters of petrol worth 233.71 billion reals or 20.2 million US dollars. ISNA said, citing the Coast Guard chief in the southern province of Hormozgan. Major Hossein Dehaki was quoted as saying that, quote, 12 Philippine nationals were arrested and the relevant judiciary officials are currently taking the required legal measures. Mr. Dehaki said the group was suspected of operating a fuel smuggling ring and the confiscated shipment had been intercepted close to Sirik County in the Strait of Hormuz. The seizure comes amid tensions in the Gulf after the United States unilaterally withdrew from a nuclear deal, putting curbs on Iran's nuclear program in return for relief from sanctions. The escalation has seen ships mysteriously attacked, drones downed, and oil tankers seized in the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point for a third of world's seaborne oil.
Since 1999, Aloha Harvest rescues and delivers quality, excess food to help feed the needy, hungry, and homeless in Hawaii. Unlike food banks, Aloha Harvest does not store any food. Instead, it delivers and distributes directly by partnering with organizations in public and private sectors. One of those organizations is the Iglesia ni Cristo or Church of Christ to the Aid to Humanity Outreach Program. Our correspondent Alfred Desenes has more.
To all the brethren and guests that are here, aloha! Aloha! I feel the aloha spirit.
The Hawaii-based nonprofit Aloha Harvest recently teamed up with the Iglesia ni Cristo Church of Christ in its latest Aid to Humanity charity project at Eva Beach in West Oahu.
This activity is an activity launched by the church administration inside the Iglesia ni Cristo, being done all over the world. So our aid to humanity in this part of the world, here in Oahu, is our food donations to the Aloha Harvest. And to all the brethren who donated these foods, from the ministers and workers leading the brethren, we'd like to thank you for your wholehearted help and support. Let us give us a round of applause.
Before introducing Aloha Harvest, event organizers described to the audience the magnitude of the food items that were donated on Oahu Island alone.
And as you can see behind us, all of these boxes are filled with food. In front of us is bags of rice, and even behind the stage is double the amount of boxes that we have in front of the stage. So you can see the amount of food items that we've donated. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. She brought along a huge 20-foot truck. I don't think we can even fill that. We're going to fill it, and we're going to also put food items on the top of that truck. Now, Aloha Harvest, what they do is they rescue, their sole mission is to rescue food items, and they take it directly to the social service agencies here in Hawaii. And I believe you service of over 175 social services here on this island.
Aloha Harvest representative Deborah Van Zyn was then presented with a certificate of appreciation from church officials led by Brother Marcel Ramirez, the supervising minister for Hawaii Pacific.
Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, Ecclesiastical District of Hawaii Pacific, hereby presents to Aloha Harvest a total of, we lost count, by the way, so we can say, I think it's over 6 pallets full of food items. And we're donating it from the Aid to Humanity Food Donation Drive, dated the 25th of August, 2019, signed by Brother Marcel A. Ramirez, our district supervising minister.
On behalf of Aloha Harvest, I want to thank everybody that's up here and all of you out in the audience for this amazing donation that we've gotten today. It is so generous, and it's such a testament to the community that you have here to just give from the heart. And this food is definitely well needed and much appreciated. So again, on behalf of Aloha Harvest, our board of directors, and all of the participants here tonight, thank you so, so much for everything.
As the nonprofit enters its 20th year, Deborah recounted Aloha Harvest's recent experience during last year's natural calamities throughout the Aloha State, and even took the opportunity to encourage other communities and groups to forge a partnership with them in combating hunger.
It was definitely a new set of circumstances, that's for sure. It was learning how to react quickly. It was learning to focus resources where they were needed. Give us a call. We'd love to have you. We'd love to be able to work with you, to partner with you. We are always willing to take volunteers if you want to volunteer. If you have food that you want to give us a call. Check us out on Facebook.
This is not the first time that Aloha Harvest worked alongside the INC. To recall, in 2017, a record-breaking 6,600 pounds, about 3,000 kilograms of food was donated, an amount which, according to the nonprofit, would take about 3 days to accumulate. The Global Church in Hawaii accomplished this in just 4 hours. Unfolds, and for now, reporting from Ewa Beach, Hawaii, I'm Alfred Esenas, 1 with 25.
Thank you, Alfred. Eagle News, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Philippines, Manila or Quezon City is a popular destination. But oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city can be more stressful on your vacation. So when you feel the need to reconnect to nature or relax again, there's a beautiful oasis just outside of the city called the Garden at Ciudad de Victoria. That you can see here include hydrangea, snapdragon, and stargazers. They're truly beautiful. The gardens at Ciudad de Victoria are so peaceful, tranquil, and beautiful that it's become a haven for young couples and a very popular venue for engagement photos. The next time you want an escape from the big city, the garden at Ciudad de Victoria is a wonderful place to visit.
Tungkulin na MTRCV ang mag-provide na appropriate
Welcome back. Inflation could decelerate further in the coming months due largely to the expected drop in rice prices and base effects, according to the government and local economists. On Thursday, PSA data showed that inflation slowed to a 35-month low of 1.7% in August. It's the slowest since September 2016, when inflation was at the same level. Barring shocks, National Statistician and Civil Registrar Dennis Mapa told reporters in a news briefing that inflation could remain at this level in the coming months. Ateneo Center for Economic Research and Development Director Alvin Ang said inflation could still go down around 1% in the next 2 months. It can be noted that inflation peaked in September and October 2018 at 6.7%. Now this could usher in high base effects and lead to lower inflation rates. Ang said, however, that the Philippines is not in danger of experiencing deflation or negative inflation. He also said low inflation will not have a negative impact on GDP. Quote, ample domestic food supply conditions along with lower global oil prices have contributed to a manageable inflation environment. At the same time, deepening trade tensions between China and the United States, along with ongoing geopolitical risks, have raised global economic uncertainty, which poses a downside risk to the inflation outlook, according to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
Meantime, Britain's upper house on Friday gave final approval to a law that would force Boris Johnson to delay Brexit, in a fresh setback for the British Prime Minister, who is struggling in his bid to call an early election. The draft, which now requires formal assent by Queen Elizabeth to become law, would seek to postpone Brexit beyond the current deadline of October 31 if Johnson does not manage to strike a divorce agreement with the EU next month. Johnson, who has said he would rather be dead in a ditch then asked for a delay wants an early general election that could give him a mandate to take Britain out of the European Union with or without divorce deal. He spent Friday morning campaigning in Scotland among fishermen who strongly backed the Brexit referendum in 2016. Johnson received a boost when the High Court in London rejected a deal challenge against his decision to suspend Parliament from next week. But it granted permission for the case to go to the Supreme Court for an appeal scheduled for September 17. Johnson has branded the bill a surrender that would allow the other 27 EU leaders to dictate the terms on which Britain leaves its closest neighbors after 46 years. He sacked 21 conservative rebels who voted for the legislation in the House of Commons on Tuesday. The decision left him without a working majority in Parliament. Johnson's opponents are now widely expected to block for the second time Monday his attempt to schedule snap polls for October 15.
Discipline is always tough, but here we are.
But Mr. Speaker, I know he's worried about free trade deals with America, but there's only one chlorinated chicken that I can see in this house, and he's on that bench. Will he confirm again? Will he confirm? Will he confirm that he will let the people decide? Let the people decide on what he is doing to this country's negotiating position by having a general election on October the 15th.
Jeremy Corbyn! Well, maybe the Prime Minister could tell us what the negotiating position actually is. And since the question I asked, the Prime Minister may have forgotten it in his rather lengthy peroration there, that the British Retail Consortium said, and I quote, that it was categorically untrue when the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster denied there would be shortages of fresh food. Mr. Speaker, I hope no more young female staff are going to be frog-marched out of Downing Street. Because there was another government leak at the weekend concerning, Mr. Speaker, there was another government leak at the weekend concerning disruption of our ports. The leaked documents written by the government in the last fortnight show no deal would lead to shortages on the shelves and of medical supplies in hospitals. People need to prepare. So can I ask the Prime Minister again, will he publish in full the Yellowhammer documents so people can see which foodstuffs are not going to be available, which medicines are not going to be supplied, and what will happen to the shortages of vital supplies in every one of our hospitals all over this country?
Mr. Speaker, what he is recommending is yet more delay, yet more uncertainty for business. What we in this government want to do is deliver on the mandate of the people. Now, he used to be a Democrat. He used to believe in upholding the referendum result. Can he say now whether he would vote in favour of leave or remain? And can he say now whether he's in favour of a second referendum or not?
Jeremy Corbyn! The Prime Minister failed to answer my questions about food supply, about medicine supplies and about the problems in hospitals. He refuses to publish the Yellowhammer documents and he talks about scaremongering. Where does the information come from other than his office in his government? And he's obviously so confident of the position he's adopted, he's now prepared to spend £100 million of our money on an advertising campaign in order to try to persuade people that everything's fine. He knows it's not, they know it's not, he is hiding the facts. The government has refused to publish its impact assessments on how a no-deal Brexit would affect poverty levels in this country. They received a request under the Freedom of Information Act from the Glasgow-based Poverty Alliance. The DWP replied that the public interest would not be served by that disclosure.
And that's all the time we have for you tonight, Don.
Of course, and we remind you, please don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Tumblr. Also, check our boards on Pinterest and pictures on Instagram. I'm Don Orozco, and again, thanks for joining us.
I'm Alma Angeles, and we're one with 25.